Welcome to this video. I want to show you today how to create a Data Vault link in Coalesce with Data Vault for Coalesce. And for this, I'm directly going to jump into my Coalesce environment. You see a very blank canvas. I only have 3 source tables here, parts, suppliers, and a table called part sub. And we're just quickly going to discover how they look like. Then we're going to see why we want to actually create a Data Vault link here. And then I'm going to guide you through creating a stage first and then create a link. Going to be pretty straightforward. So let's directly start here. Let's have a look at our table. So the first table that we have here, maybe we start with the parts table. The parts table is coming from the TPCH dataset, might be familiar to you. It basically defines all our parts, some brands, names, types, sizes. And it also has a supplier information. So if we actually create this object, which is a view, and we fetch it, we can see we have some part key, we have some information about this part, and over here we have a supplier information. Looks like a relationship. Because if we look back in our supplier table, we will find like a supplier key. We could fetch some data here to see the supplier key actually looks like, the one referred in my parts table, and then some information about the supplier. So we have 2 tables. The part table has an outgoing relationship to supplier. So if I want to implement a data vault on top of this, I will end up implementing a data vault link. Let's do it. So the first thing that we need every time we want to create a data vault entity is a data vault stage. And we can do this by just right-clicking our parts entity, click on Add Node, Data Vault for Coalesce, and then we select the stage. We should see a new object, dv stage parts, just forwarding all columns on the source table, adding 2 columns, the load date and the record source, and we just need to add a couple more, right? The one thing that we need is a part hash key. So I'm going to right-click my part key. I see a new column down here, and I'm just going to rename it to HK for hash key, part, and then _H, because this will be loaded into my part hub, which is not part of this video, but you will need it for your link. The next thing, if you're familiar with data vault links already, you know that the link should also contain the hub hash keys of all other business objects. And since the link that we're going to build will connect parts and suppliers, we will need the hub hash key for suppliers. That's why I will also click Generate Hash Column on the supplier. And I'm going to rename this one to HK for hash key again, _supplier _H, because theoretically this will be the one column that I will also find in my supplier hub. The most important thing now, because we want to populate a link, is I need a link hash key. And the link hash key should always be calculated out of the business keys of all relationship participants. In this case, it's just 2, parts and supplier. So I will need a hash value out of those 2 columns. So I'm going to select both. I'm going to right-click Generate Hash Column. And this one I'm going to call HK, hash key. I'm going to call it part _supplier, because those are the 2 participants of this relationship. And then _L, because this is a link hash key. This is all I want for now. Theoretically, you would also generate the hash diffs here for the satellites. But since this video is about links, I'm only going to populate the columns that I need for my link. What I can do now is check the data vault properties here. I don't need to configure anything here. So I can just click on Create. I will see, if I just fetch the data, I will see there's a couple of columns added, 3 in total. We have the part hash key, the supplier hash key, and out of that, the combined link hash key, HK part supplier L. So now we have everything that we need for our link. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select up here in my stage. We're still in the stage, but Coalesce has the nice feature to just select a couple of columns that you want to use downstream in your next object, which is directly what we're going to do. So I'm going to select my link hash key. I'm going to select both my hub hash keys, and then I'm going to select my load date and my record source. And those 5 columns is everything that I need for my link. So I'm going to right-click them, add node, data vault for Coalesce, and then I'm going to select my link. Takes a couple of seconds, and now we are already in our new object, which is the data vault link. Let's slightly adjust the name here. It should match, or our best practice is that the link name matches the hash key name or vice versa. So let's call this one the part supplier link. The order already looks good. So the link hash key is the first column. This is how it should be, followed by all hub hash keys. And then we have the load date and the record source. We have a couple of things we need to configure here, or just one thing, right? If we expand the data vault options on the right side, we see that we have to define and tell the macro which column is the link hash key column. Pretty easy here. It's this one, the part supplier L. So I just selected here. That's it. I click on create. I see an easy create statement executed against my Snowflake environment. I can now click on run. Now it should be populated. Typically it takes a short amount of time, but you can see it directly shows the results. Yeah, this is how a classic data vault link looks like. Quite easy, quite straightforward, took like 5 minutes, not even. And our link was created. We can even have a look at the code, the insert statement here. Yeah, just a nice incremental load that just inserts what needs to be inserted, basically populating our link. Pretty straightforward. I can also re-execute it just to see that there's nothing added now because there's no new data available. So we will see in the results that number of rows inserted, 0, which is perfect because there were no changes in the incoming data, right? If you look at the first insert statement, you will see that 800,000 rows were inserted. Second one, 0, which makes sense, right? No data. Okay, this is how easy you can create a link. We're now gonna have a look at some advanced stuff, like not too advanced, but I wanna show you how to create a multi-source link. For that, we're just gonna have a look at our canvas again. So we have now a stage and a link from our parts table, right? The supplier table, if you look at it again, there's no reference here into parts, which is fine. So I don't need to actively do anything for my supplier table. But if we look at this third table, which is called part sub, we see there's also a connection here between parts and supplier. So what we should do is we should also include this one in our link because it's the same semantic meaning. It basically tells us which part is delivered by which supplier. So let's go back to our canvas. Let's right-click our part sub again. And let's add a data vault stage here as well. As I said before, every time you want to do something with your data, you should always start with a data vault stage. This is where you generate all your hash values and do other stuff, right? So we see again, all 5 columns are added. We have 2 more columns, load date and record source, and we can do basically the same thing. So we're going to generate a hash key for our part, which would be the same name, hk part h. We do the same for sub key. This is called the hk supplier h. And we also do the combined one. We select both columns, generate hash column, and we also call it hk part supplier and L for link. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, of course, I'm going to create this stage first. And now I can jump back to my link. And I need to toggle the multi-source here as the first thing. And then I can, I think, map to existing column. This is the one I was looking for. So I just drag my whole stage up here. And we see, no, we don't. first we need to create a new source mapping. We're going to call it the part sub source. We can also rename this one to be the part source. And in here, what we're going to do is we're going to map everything to these columns. We see that this is automatically populated because the names or the columns are all called the same, which is nice. We double check this one, also still looks good. So if I now execute my link, I will see both source tables being, let me double check. Why is there an error? What is the error? HK part supplier L. It doesn't find it. Why not? Did I not create it? HK part supplier L. I did create it, right? Yes. Does it look right? It does look right. So why is it failing? So this one was working fine. This one, for some reason, wasn't. Line 7. Not sure if I have any kind of typo here. No. Doesn't really look like that. HK part supplier L is available here. This is weird. Let's retry. This one worked, yes. And for some reason it did not. Yeah, of course. I have to generate this join first, which is not really a join, just a from statement. And now it works fine. Let's see. So I can close those. And I see that both insert statements worked fine. This one actually also did not insert anything because this new source didn't actually have new relationships, which is fine. But yeah, this is how easily you can create a multi-source link, or just also typically you don't have a, or I wouldn't say typically, but it can happen that you have a single source link for now, and then over time you add sources over time, which is fine. This is the way Data Vault should look like. And it just indicates that you have an integrated Data Vault, which is good. And yeah, you can just add a third, fourth, fifth source here over time. Very easy. Just map it to your existing columns. Okay, so this is how easy you can create single source links, multi-source links, and just use them downstream for your business analysis, which is what Data Vault for Coalesce helps you in enabling. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you haven't implemented a hub yet, check out our other videos to see how to implement a hub. If hubs and links and satellites are completely new to you overall, then maybe check out our Data Vault Handbook. You can see it here in the QR code. Just follow the QR code and you can download it for free. And it will give you everything you need to know about Data Vault and how to implement it. Thanks for watching and hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.